Well, we had a couple extra packages, and we've had this top bar hive that my dad gave me. He couldn't keep bees in it. I tried for years, couldn't keep bees in it. So what's a smart thing to do? Try to throw a package at it and try to keep bees in it. Suzi is not a big fan. She says use it as a decoration because this thing's a piece of junk and bees won't stay in it. She's probably right, but we thought we'd just make it special. So Suzi's not looking. She is not a big fan of us putting a package of bees in this top bar hive. She's probably right, but what I thought we'd do, we are gentlemen after all.
Had nothing to do with.
Brian had everything to do with. This was all Brian's.
I wouldn't do anything like this.
I can't even spell Suzi's right. Suzi's.
Yeah, that's why she doesn't like it.
Shh, don't tell her. So why in the world are top bar hives so hard to keep bees in? I don't know. They're kind of a pain. They require a lot of cleaning up on the sides, keeping the frames separated. They kind of make a mess, but it's super cool to see what the bees do when they draw out their own comb. I'm a big fan of drawn comb, have been for a long time. I love seeing that. It is just sometimes inconvenient. But let's take a look at what this top bar hive is. So as we open up Suzi's hive, kind of a basic configuration. It has all these, there's probably a fancy name for these, Brian. What do you call these things?
Spline.
Splines. I just call them top bars. And so we're actually, what's kind of cool about this though, is we can actually choke this thing down. And I'm only going to put 5 of these top bars or splines in there. But what we did, I've always had problems with them making a mess in here. So what I did is I took some Premier Extra Heavy Wax Foundation and then ripped a piece of flat stock down so I could stick the foundation in it, and then just use some beeswax to kind of glue it in there. That's going to give them a couple places a template to go off of, and maybe they don't quite make such a big mess. So on the inside, you know, kind of a standard configuration. What's neat about this particular one is it's also an observation hive, so we can kind of look right down and see what the bees are doing. So that's kind of cool. On the other side, we made a little modification where usually the entrance is as a plug that you pull on this back side. But I went ahead and put an entrance dial on there. Now, how do you feed a top bar hive? Well, that can be a little bit challenging. On this particular one, we're going to use Pro Suite. And it has this, it's kind of like it's a Boardman feeder, really is what it is. But it has a little feeding entrance. The bees can kind of go in here and feed. We're also going to use it as our divider board to kind of choke the bees' space down. There is a screen, has a screen bottom board underneath, but with this piece of corrugated plastic right now, we're going to just leave that closed off. So that's kind of our setup. This is Pro Suite, it's about 3 to 1. We're going to flip that over, put that right inside of our feeder, and use that as our divider board. And we'll kind of see what happens. We got to talk about our configuration here. I'm probably going to do what we normally do for packages. We're going to spray them down, make like a little, I don't know, what do you call it, a honeybee shake, where they're kind of rolling around, a little bit of syrup, but they can't fly. They spend all their time grooming. But I'm going to choke them down to a smaller amount of space for a couple of reasons. I want them to draw out on these templates, and I'm just not a big fan of putting all these splines in here next to each other, because what bees do with all that available space is they'll draw a comb, but then they'll draw cross comb and burr comb and just make just a nasty mess on this thing. And I don't have time to fool with that. So I want to be able to enjoy and see what they do, see if this will work, but I don't have time to get in here and constantly clean up. So I think what I'm going to do is checkerboard some of this foundation with those top bars to kind of see what they do. So I think I'm going to start off and just do a top bar, and then the foundation, top bar, foundation, and eventually I can't keep putting foundation in there. I mean, I guess I suppose I could, but I don't really want to fool with all that. So I think on the last couple I'll just leave it as top bar splines. Then as the colony grows, I'll give them some more room kind of going this way. Or maybe I won't. Maybe I'll put a divider in there and make 2 colonies. Now here's a very rare type of honeybee that just makes an enormous amount of honey. Oh, where'd it go? You can cut that part out. Anyways.
This is live action.
Live action. You can keep that. Live action. You can keep that part in there. All right. So now we got to shake the bees in here. I'm going to go ahead and pull out, probably pull these ones out. And I'll pull, well, heck, I'll just pull all these ones out for now. I'm going to shake them right to that spot. Now, how are we going to get the queen secured? I guess we could use a rubber band. We could use a nice piece of wax. Probably stick her in there too. You know, looking at this, Brian, that doesn't look like an awful lot of space to shake those bees in there. I think I'm going to add a spline here. I'm going to do 2 splines, and then the foundation, and then 2 splines, then the foundation, and then 2 splines. That way, at least if they go to town and get funky, at least I have the foundation as a marker between that I can break off and clean from there. I can't even believe I'm sitting here talking about cleaning up after a top bar hive. My wife's probably right. She always is. But sometimes I just want to dabble a little, I guess. So here we go. Alright, so I'm just going to take some of these out. Take those 2 out. I'm just going to keep them in order. And I think that's fine. I can shake them into that. I'm going to probably attach the queen to one of these here. What I did do is melt down some of my cappings wax, and then just in a little crock pot, and just paint brush it on here. Give some nice, fresh, good smelling wax to draw. And the idea is that they'll draw a beautiful comb. I have seen it. They draw a beautiful shaped comb. It's awesome. It's gorgeous. It sometimes can be a problem if they start to draw that comb on the inside walls of the box. That's where it becomes a little bit of a problem. But let's see what happens. So, first things first, let's get this package going. Now this is a 3-pound package that is very old. I've been meaning to get these last 2 installed, and I really haven't. But there's not really that many dead bees for being as old as it is. We picked those bees up on Saturday. Oh, it's a week old. So they're going to be hungry. They're probably going to go to town. So let's go ahead and get these rascals installed. So like we normally do with anything else, we got our sugar water. Brian's veilless. If you go home with a fat lip or a closed up eye, just blame Dan, because Dan's here too. Alright, so we're going to spray, knock them down, spray again. It's a nice warm day today. It's getting very hot, so I don't mind giving them a little extra spray. Look what they're doing on the inside already. They're juicy. They're drawing comb, ready to go. We're going to spray them down nice. It's going to keep them from flying around, and they're going to stay put. So just like any other package installation, I'm going to pop off the Luan. This one, they're probably going to have this can wax because it's been in there for so long. Okay, and right before we pull the can, oh, that can's tight. There we go. We're going to bump it down, pull the queen, Luan goes back. Okay, then we're going to go ahead now, take the cage off, take a look. Queen's running around looking good. Pull the cork off the candy side. Put that in your pocket. You've heard me say it a million times by now. Put those corks in your pocket, and if you're installing 5, 10, or 50, count those corks at the end of the day. And if you end up with a couple corks short, guess what you're doing? You're running through and checking every single one. So our cork's out. Now we got to find a way to secure the queen to one of these top bars. I'm thinking, heck, I might just go like that, Brian.
perfect.
Why not? Let's see. We'll use some official hillbilly rigging, aka baling twine. I'm gonna make a quick slip. Alright, the most important thing is we want her to be face down when we do attach her. I'm just going to come across. There's a little bit of a staple in there. I think I'm just going to use that. And press that staple back. That'll work. We'll put that in here like that. Make sure she's face down. What do you think, Brian? Is that going to work?
Works.
It won't, or it will till it won't. And we'll guarantee that, won't we? Okay, now our can is empty, so 7 days. Empty. Now, I don't want Miss Tara hollering at me that you got stung in the face because you're not wearing a veil. So let's spray him again.
I have a veil on.
Sure you do. Alright. Gonna bump him down. Time to shake and bake, Ricky Bobby. No, they've got comb stuck up in this one. There we go. Okay, we're going to put that package underneath there. Now we're going to we've got 2 of the top bar splines. I'm going to get that piece of wax out of there. I'm going to put the foundation in. Spline. Spline. Get that piece of wax out of there. Okay. Foundation. Spline, spline, and then we'll put our divider board with our feed. That's it. Good to go. Shake the rest of those out. Now what we can do is get all this cleaned up and out of there. These all can stay put. We're going to close Suzi's hive. Oh, is she watching? No, she's not watching. Okay. Tomorrow morning she's going to come and she's going to say, Burns, there's bees flying out of that hive. I won't tell her if you won't. It must have been a swarm. So we can see here, here's their entrance. We're just going to use that dial. They can come out as they want. It's going to take them a little while for that sugar syrup to kind of get cleaned up until they can fly. But all the bees who are in the package, that are able to fly, they're eventually going to be fanning the scent of mama out of that entrance, and they're all going to go back home. So there it is. Suzi's top bar hive has been installed, and I guess stay tuned for more updates on whether or not I'm sleeping on the couch. We'll see you next time. Remember, be the lighthouse and be the change that you want to see in this world. We'll see you next time. Thanks for watching. She's in there. Let's see. Oh, honey. How are you doing today?
What would happen if that hive accidentally falls over?
You wouldn't.
I would.
I'm sleeping on the couch tonight.